From the PEP Radio Newsroom, these are the stories we are covering at this hour. The Keystone is reporting that U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders wrapped up a three-day trip to Pennsylvania with his Fight Oligarchy Tour in Bethlehem on Saturday. Trump's disregard for the rule of law and refusal to give immigrants due process were the main issues for many rallygoers. The Trump administration's flagrant disregard for the rule of law and refusal to give immigrants due process before deporting them were at the top of many people's minds at U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders' Fight Oligarchy Tour as they stopped across Pennsylvania this past weekend. Sanders spoke in front of thousands of union members and workers celebrating May Day in Philadelphia on Thursday last week, and then traveled to Harrisburg and Bethlehem with Congressman Chris DeLuzio, the Democrat from Allegheny County. On Friday and Saturday, it's not just oligarchy that we're dealing with today, Sanders said during his speech. We are looking at an unprecedented attack on the foundation of American democracy, and under Trump, a movement toward authoritarianism. Throughout his first 3 months in office, Trump has unilaterally attempted to dismantle government agencies without the approval of Congress and slash critical funding to states that were already approved by Congress. His administration has arrested international college students for protesting Israel's war in Gaza and wrongfully deported immigrants like Kilmer Abrego Garcia to a Salvadoran prison named the CCOT. Abrego Garcia has been in the United States since he was 16 after fleeing gang violence in El Salvador. Abrego Garcia was granted protection from deportation by an immigration judge in 2019, but the Trump administration still deported him and has since refused to follow a 9-0 U.S. Supreme Court ruling demanding they facilitate his return. He thinks he's a dictator, first of all. He's not even following the Constitution, David Sellers, a retired PennDOT worker, said prior to Sanders' rally in Bethlehem. He took a vow to follow the Constitution and thinks he doesn't have to. Same with Kilmer Abrego Garcia, who they sent down to El Salvador, all these prisoners that didn't even get a fair trial. Harrisburg and Bethlehem are home to two of Pennsylvania's most vulnerable Republican congressmen, U.S. Representative Scott Perry from York and Ryan McKenzie from the Lehigh Valley. And Democrats are hoping to flip those seats in the 2026 midterm elections. In other news, Harvard University will receive no new federal grants until it meets a series of demands from President Donald Trump's administration, the Education Department announced on Monday. The action was laid out in a letter to Harvard's president and amounts to a major escalation of Trump's battle with the Ivy League school. The administration previously froze $2.2 billion in federal grants to Harvard, and Trump is pushing to strip the school of its tax-exempt status. Harvard has pushed back on the administration's demands, setting up a closely watched clash in Trump's attempt to force change at universities that he says have become hotbeds of liberalism and anti-Semitism. Meanwhile, the Republican Party has become a hotbed of radical fascism, xenophobia, transphobia, homophobia, sexism, and overall bigotry. Despite such concerns with the GOP, Republicans are not clashing to force change from within their own party. In a press call, an Education Department official who spoke on condition of anonymity said Harvard will receive no new federal grants until it demonstrates responsible management of the university and satisfies federal demands on a range of subjects. The ban applies to federal research grants and not to federal financial aid that helps students cover college tuition and fees. So in other words, we're going to cut grants that are on their way to study things such as childhood cancer, diabetes, other medical conditions, and all sorts of topics which are covered at Harvard. And despite the fact that the university is approaching its 400th anniversary, Donald Trump seems satisfied in slapping the college around as being a place of liberalism and having weak academic standards. Right. The official accused Harvard of serious failures and claimed that Harvard has allowed anti-Semitism and racial discrimination to perpetuate. It has abandoned rigorous academic standards, and it has failed to allow a range of views on its campus. In other words, radical fascism. To become eligible for new grants, Harvard would need to enter negotiations with the federal government and prove it has satisfied the administration's requirements. Since when does the federal government get to dictate the curriculum offered by any higher level educational institution? The Trump administration has demanded that Harvard make broad government and leadership changes, revise its admissions policies, and audit its faculty and student body to ensure the campus is home to many points of view. Okay, that does not include flat earthers. I'm sorry, but no, it simply doesn't. If you think the earth is flat, you have no business attending Harvard. Try the University of Arkansas instead. The demands are part of a pressure campaign targeting several other high-profile universities. The administration has cut off money to colleges including Columbia University, University of Pennsylvania, and Cornell, seeking compliance with Trump's idiotic agenda. That's the news at this hour. If you are 18 or older, live in Pennsylvania, and you are part of the LGBTQ+ community, please visit the Pennsylvania Equality Project website, paequality.com, to complete the 2025 housing survey in progress until June 30th. Up next is the local weather forecast for Meadville, right here on PEP Radio.